Where are they? Here they are. Is that rust? What the heck? That's rust. Wait a minute. Whoa. But tell me that's not rust. Oh, wow. Okay, that's what it looks like. So once you've met resistance, stop screwing. Yeah. Welcome back. This is another video on my UGREEN DXP4800 Plus. In this video, I will be upgrading the thermals, namely the fan in the back, and I will be replacing the thermal paste with the help of these two. This is the Noctua NF-A14 PWM 140mm fan. Looks like this. And for the thermal compound, I will be using Arctic MX6. Now, why am I doing this? Well, at first, while in Unraid, when I was transferring all my files, the temperatures of my drives spiked all the way up to around 48 Celsius, which is, the manufacturer suggested temperature range was somewhere between 40 to 50 or 60, I don't remember, which, felt a little high, being at, around 47, 48 degrees Celsius. It felt a little high. So I tried ramping up the fan speed in the BIOS to full blast all the time. It was really loud, so I toned it down a bit. I messed with the fan curve, and it seemed all right. So, do I really need this upgrade? Not necessarily. Right now it's running at 41 degrees Celsius on standby, while I was transferring a 4 terabyte folder last night or yesterday. The temperature really only peaked at around 46, 47. I mean, it's a little high, but it's not abnormal. But, the stock fan is great. I mean, it's all right. So the reason I want to upgrade is just to have that reassurance, of because it went to that temperature before, I just want to prevent that happening in the future. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to power down my system. In Unraid, right here, I'm going to hit power off, shut down the system, and I will wait till the system's shut down. I will unplug it, disassemble everything, and hopefully this will fit, because I don't know if this will fit or not. I just know that it's a 140mm fan, and I'm not sure if it's an exact fit. So system is going down, and I will be waiting for that final breath. Sounded like that was the final breath. Alright, so now that my system is fully powered down, just not going to need that anymore. I'll put that on the side, get some screwdrivers ready, and I will unplug my UGREEN. Unplugged. So for this, just to keep it safe, I'm going to remove my hard drives. Drives goes there. Very careful with these drives because everything I have are on these drives. Cool, now that the drives are out, we have access to our little fan thing in the back. So this is a magnetic shroud, just a dust cover, magnetic, pretty cool. So you can already see there are already some dust in it. Alright, so it looks like the screws are hidden behind these 4 little rubber stamp things. Feet, or well, they're not feet, they're facing the back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna carefully peel these. Okay, so they're not glued or anything, they're just shoved in there. These little rubber feet, I don't know what you would call these. So there you go. Knife works very well. However, you're poking holes through them, so be careful. Now don't lose them. You'll definitely want to keep them. So just fairly simple 4 Phillips screws. Right, so the 4 screws are removed. Just set them over here. Now theoretically, this should be able to come out. Alright, only teardown video I found. Credit to Appllard's Adventures on YouTube. Looks like he kind of did what I thought to do, was to just take a screwdriver and poke out the back shroud from the inside. This one's a bit sharp. I don't know if I want to use this one, but it seems like it's working. So just navigate between the fans and try and poke the thing out. There we go. That's very sketchy. However, once it is out, we can see that it's all just plastic retaining clips right here on the sides, and these are the magnets for the fan shroud on the back. Cool. Now that we have the back IO cover off, I'm going to set that aside. In the back, we are greeted by our stock 140mm fan. Now in here we see some warranty seals, hardware warranty seals, which means absolutely nothing. Don't be scared by that. So you know what? I'm going to remove the fan from just this configuration right here and see how much I can do without actually removing the shroud. Okay, there is our fan, which is connected. Oh, that's so simple. Right here to a 4-pin connector. Boom. There's our fan. It's a factory DC, rotary DC fan brushless, fan-cooling, fan-cooling.com. Very cool. Now, I think I can just install my Noctua fan like this, right? Do I want to replace the, okay, so I see on the bottom here, I don't know if you guys can see this. Here on the bottom where my thumb is pointing, that's where the CPU is. And I see the heatsink and there's a tiny little fan on there. That's what you would need to remove in order to replace the thermal pastes and all that. Okay, so now it becomes the question of, do I really want to remove and replace the thermal paste? Because some users reported that the temps are okay, some reported that, you know, it's some units are, I don't know, I wouldn't say defective, but some, you know, run hotter than others given similar circumstances. So I don't know, maybe just for science sake I shall remove this and see. However, I don't think that it's strictly necessary to remove and replace your thermal paste for basically a brand new product. However, you know, for ease of mind and for longevity's sake, maybe you can do that. So here's the retaining clip. Obviously there's one under that warranty seal sticker. Obviously it means absolutely nothing. However, you know, it's fairly easy to just re-stick it back on, because it's not, one, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. They should still honor the warranty. And shit. Not if you do that. Anyway, they should still honor the warranty. Emphasis on should. So it looks like this just slides out. Aha! Okay, alright. Here we go. Give a little push on it. Doesn't look like anything is, stuck, taped. However, on the bottom side right here, there's this spring-loaded little plastic clip. You want to depress that while you're pulling it out of the shell, because it will interfere. Here we go. That is quite heavy. Wow. This is the outer shell. It's got a nice resonance on it. We don't need this for now. Put that off to the side, and here we have basically the brains of this thing. So Here we have our drive array. The front I/O is part of this whole thing. Nothing much to see here, and on right here you see the motherboard basically goes into the front plastic piece right here. So for us to remove this, I see one screw here, 2, 3, and 4. Is this motherboard bent? No, it can't be. Anyway, I'll just remove these 4 and then we'll go from there. Alright, here are all the 4 screws that's retaining the motherboard. It's all removed. Something that I did not immediately notice is that this is the part where you have access to without taking the case whole thing off, and right next to it, this is your boot SSD. So it's for the DXP4800 Plus. This is going to be a 128 gigabyte M.2 SSD, and it looks like it's SYS and whatever that means. Never heard of it. Anyway, so theoretically, this should just I can just pop this out, unless I have to remove all these screws holding the I/O bracket. Looks like that's what I have to do. You know, for those of you wondering that, you know, why am I doing this as a brand new product? There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, there's nothing wrong with it, but I would just like to do this, one, because I can. You know, you should be, I bought this thing, right? I should have the freedom to do whatever I want with it. You know, whether warranty covers it, that's a whole different story. Oh, okay, cool, alright, that was freaking janky as hell. Okay, that unplugs the SATA controller for the 4 drives. So theoretically, I can just wiggle. I don't want to wiggle that. I'll touch the board, I guess. Ah, okay, there's 2 more screws down here. If you can see down here, that's a screw. I think I might need to remove that. This is when you would need a LTT screwdriver. I don't know, I'm not sponsored by them. I don't even own one. Yeah, okay, looks like you have to remove these 2 up front as well. Aha! So after taking those 4 screws out, you can just remove the front. And, oh, something's taped. Hold on. I ripped some, okay, so it's this thing right here that was kind of taped onto this part of the motherboard. I think it'll just go straight back on, so I'm not too worried about that. And I think, oh my goodness, another screw right here. So after finally removing the last screw, the motherboard is free. Unplug the SATA controller, and voila, here we have the motherboard of the UGREEN DXP4800 Plus in all of its glory. There's that fan, battery, stuff, and more stuff. Cool, I'm gonna wash my hands. So here we have our fan, or the heatsink, plus fan for our CPU. There's some like glue, there's some residue on this thing already. I literally just opened this. There's already stuff on the inside. So this part just like hangs out, which is fine, I guess. It holds the support for your motherboard mounts. Looks like it's just 4 screws on the back to give us access to our CPU. So let's do that. Alright, so oh wow, okay, that's what it looks like. This is what our CPU look like. This is their thermal compound solution. It looks like they just blopped it on there. I don't know what I'm looking at. So let's get this cleaned up a bit. Again, I mean, I don't do this every day. I'm not a professional at this, so if you're seeing mistakes, please don't hesitate to point them out and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. That way I'll know next time, you know, not to do certain things. So here we are. Let that dry a little bit. I think it's, yeah, I think it's good to let this thing dry a little bit. Just gonna apply the first little bit on here, but little pea-sized right there, and a little more on there. That should be more than enough. Now, where's the cap? Here it is. Now we just have to install this, which can be a little tricky, I guess. But just line up the holes. How should I do this? The posts don't go straight in there. So I think I'm just gonna... Yeah, there's no way to lock this like a normal CPU. So I'm just gonna place it down. Hold it as still as I can. And get these screws in. Very nice. Okay, everything is tight and good. Let me just inspect the gaps really quickly. Yep, looks good. Everything should be a-okay. So, clean it up a little bit. Now it's time for the reassembly. Oh, geez, how does this go back in? Right, so this part goes on here. So what I'm doing now is I'm lining up this screw with this thing right up front. So up here looks like, line that up a little bit. Oh yeah, you have to line up the SATA controller to the actual port. That could definitely help. Right, so there's that. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna put the mounting screws in. Okay, so note to self, this lip right here, the not painted part goes behind the painted part. So something like that. And then line up the SATA controller, which goes in perfectly like that. Awesome. Now I can, oh shoot. Now I can install these mounting screws. Mounting screws back on. I'm going to put in the 4 little screws. Where are they? Here they are. Is that rust? What the heck? That's rust. Wait a minute. Whoa. Alright guys, tell me if... Oh jeez, I just realized my lens isn't that wide. You can't really see. But tell me that's not rust. There's like little brown bits on the screws. I don't know, man. I don't know. Right, okay, so the very next step would be the front shroud, I believe. Slide this in. Oh yeah, make sure, because there is a little taped bit right here, this thing, so just be careful when you installing it to not crush it. Yeah, make sure there's not much resistance. However, these ones are just screws that screws into the plastic. So once you've met resistance, stop screwing. Yeah, because you don't want to crack the plastic. There's one screw over here. Oh no, I used the wrong screw. Okay, I just had to disassemble everything because I forgot this one screw up here. So don't forget this screw. It's it's the only one that's different from all the other black screws. It's got a flatter profile to it. So there's that. Cool. All right, so now that's on. The next thing we need to do is to slide this bad boy. Well, actually, you know what? Let's install the fan. Let's install the fan. This is, again, Noctua NF-A14 PWM, 140 millimeter. Super cool fan. That's what it looks like. Everybody's seen a Noctua fan. Does it? Okay, it's the same. Cool. I don't know why I was worried for some reason. Wait, I need to put the core back in. To slide this back in, we're just gonna go from the top, right? Now remember this little thing right here, next to your RAM. There's this little spring-loaded plastic bit. You want to, you know, press on it so the shroud will go in. Right, there you go, with a bit of, oh shoot. Hold on. See, that little thing is giving us trouble. That don't sound good. Okay, so how do I keep this thing depressed? This thing needs to be kept depressed the whole time. Can I just fish it back out? Like, what's the actual use for this? I don't think there's an actual use for that. All right, cool. So make sure it's clipped in, you know, give it a little squeeze back in. And now it's time to install these brackets back in. All right, last screw, this warranty sticker, it's not very hard, so just stick it back on. Like nothing ever happened. Cool, so now we install the fan. So the problem we're running into right now is the stock fan has these recessed little screw holes in them. The Noctua does not. And the screws provided only go in so far. For example, you see right here, they are flush with the top. So we're gonna have to do something about that. All right, so here's my plan. Lighter, screwdriver, get it really hot, make my own little recessed hole mount right here. Let's see how this goes. The only reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to get more of these screws. I don't have more of these screws at home. I don't want to get more of these screws. So that'll give me some clearance, I hope. You know what? Let me see if I can find some screws. All right, I have the solution. It's dead simple. Just a Noctua fan stock, just like that, with all the vibration dampening feet on both sides on. What you gotta do is you just gotta line up the holes, stick them in there, and really push it down. What you're trying to do is you're trying to compress, like squeeze this rubber part so that the screw will catch onto the hole. So right now, see? This side is fully secured. Successfully installed the Noctua fan. Now, we put this back together. This is just another plastic clip. This side is a little stubborn. Fantastic. Now for the last 4 screws. Screws are in. Time to put our back panel on. Okay, that's on. Oh, you know what? Should put these little rubber feet in, rubber boot, to block the screw holes. Make the back look a little nicer. There's that. Boom. All right, now it's time to put everything back together. Put our drives in. There's some cat hair on it. Lock these. All right, here we are, moment of truth. Let's just go here real quick. HDMI 2. Booting up once again. Here we go. Still works. Very cool. I'm gonna let this run for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to check on the temperature right now. Since I just turned it on, the temperatures we are seeing for the drives are 27 and 28 degrees. So, alright, so after transferring about 50 gigabytes of files, so we can see the drive temps have gone up slightly from about 37 to 42. You know, not really a 10-degree increase. However, my, previous speeds with the stock fans and stuff was up around 47, 48 degrees. So about a 5-degree decrease, which is very nice. And also, more importantly, a very, very nice upgrade, or I don't know how would you call this. It's a lot quieter, right? Same amount of airflow, same amount of cooling, some can argue even better cooling, for a significant reduction in noise. So this is a huge plus, at least for me, because this is in my bedroom on my desk right here. Now, for the CPU temperatures, unfortunately, I do not have the temps for the previous one because I did not install this plugin on my Unraid to monitor the CPU temps. However, during the transfer, it never got above, I don't think it ever reached 60 degrees. So it was just around 50 degrees. So maybe, a little over 50, I don't know. But it never went above some crazy number like 60 degrees. So I can say that replacing the thermals, the thermal paste, did help a little bit in, reducing the CPU temperature. Alright, so that's the end of the video. What I've learned through this whole process is that, one, it's kind of a chore to take apart this system right here, take apart the hardware. And second, that the Noctua fan does not fit right out the box. You don't have to do any modifications necessarily, but then the OEM screw, the factory screw for the factory fan, is only so long, and the fan itself is a little different. There's recessed, the screw holes are recessed to give it more clearance for the fan. I guess it's specifically they designed that in a way where it all fits perfectly. Now with the Noctua fan, it doesn't have a recessed screw hole. So what I ended up having to do is just forcing it in. I tried to, I even thought about resorting to making my own little recessed hole by burning a screwdriver and just like making a little indent in it. Fortunately, I did not have to do that. I just, it would poke out, the screw would poke out just like 1 or 2 millimeters out of the Noctua housing. What I just did was I just jammed it in, and it was able to grab onto the housing. So now it's secured in the back of that. Temperatures, speeds are all very consistent. They've, I don't want to say significantly lower than the stock, but it's pretty much, it's quite a bit lower. So yeah, maybe I'll do an update after a week or maybe a couple weeks and see if this performance, temperature, and stuff will be consistent. However, from what I've seen so far, it's definitely worth considering the upgrade. Yeah, that's about it.